Hello everyone. I hope you all are safe, staying inside your home and taking all precautionary measures necessary to avoid this pandemic. Let me introduce myself. I am Tuhin Das, currently pursuing master's degree in botany from Tripura University. At first, I'd like to thank Gyan Kalyan for inviting me to give a lecture on this selected topic. Today we will talk about plasma membrane. As we all know that this is a very large topic and one small video will not be sufficient enough to complete this topic in details, but I'll try my best to give you a basic overview of what it actually is. So whenever we study plasma membrane, we often come across the three basic questions that are: what is a plasma membrane? What is it made of, and why is it so much important? Answering the first question, we can say that plasma membrane is nothing but a lipid bilayer biological membrane that surrounds a cell, giving it a definite shape. Hence, it is also known as cell membrane because it surrounds a cell. So, in case of animal cell, we generally see this kind of structure, but in case of plant cell, the cell membrane itself remains surrounded by a cell wall, which is basically made of cellulose, but in some cases we also see lignification of the cell wall for providing mechanical support. Structurally, a plasma membrane is generally composed of three basic constituents: the lipid, the protein, and the carbohydrate. There were several theories regarding the structural organization of plasma membrane, but ultimately Singer and Nicholson came up with their unique model where they stated that the protein in a plasma membrane remain embedded on the lipid bilayer in a mosaic pattern. Hence, they termed their model as fluid mosaic model. We see that in a plasma membrane, the lipid is of most amount, that is 45 to 50%. Whereas the protein is of 40 to 45% and the rest is of carbohydrate. If we talk about the individual components of a plasma membrane, let's first talk about the lipid. In a plasma membrane, there are generally two types of lipid, that are glycerolipids and sphingolipids. And this distinction is generally based on their sugar backbone. If we notice the first diagram, we can see that two fatty acid chains are attached to a glycerol backbone via ester bond, forming a glycerolipid. Whereas in case of second diagram, we can see that only one fatty acid is attached to a sphingosine backbone via an amide bond, forming a sphingolipid. In case of these lipids, we also see that a phosphate group is attached to the sugar backbone, forming the phospholipid. And in eukaryotic system, there is majority of glycerophospholipid in the plasma membrane. Basically, the plasma membrane is made of glycerophospholipid, whereas the sphingolipids remain on the cell surface, and they have certain other kinds of function. Now look at the first diagram. We can clearly see that the glycerolipid, which is actually phosphoglycerolipid in this case, can be divided into a polar head and a non-polar tail. The polar head is composed of a glycerol backbone and an attached phosphate group, whereas the non-polar tail is solely composed of the fatty acid chains. If we talk about the nature of the polar head and non-polar tail, the polar head is hydrophilic in nature, hence they attract water and tend to remain on the surface of the plasma membrane, be it intracellular or extracellular. Whereas the non-polar tail are hydrophobic, and due to the hydrophobicity of these non-polar tails, they always tend to face the intramembrane region, that is between the two monolayers. Hence, a bilayered membrane is formed. The proteins on a plasma membrane are of three types: the integral proteins, the peripheral proteins, and the lipid anchored proteins. The integral proteins are those which traverse both the monolayer of a plasma membrane. They have a middle hydrophobic region and two terminal hydrophilic regions. They are mainly associated with membrane transport and cell signaling. They remain attached to their neighboring lipids via hydrophobic induction. An example of such protein is aquaporin, which is associated with water transport. Peripheral proteins are those that remain attached to both inner and outer surface of the plasma membrane via ionic interactions. An example will be spectrin present on RBC membrane. Lipid anchored proteins are those proteins that remain attached to the lipid by covalent bonds. An example will be GPI linked proteins. The carbohydrates on a plasma membrane, however, never found freely. They remain either attached to protein forming glycoprotein or with lipid forming glycolipid. They are found on the outer surface of the plasma membrane and are generally associated with cellular recognition such as antigen. Now, why is plasma membrane so much important? To answer this, we have to understand some basic significance of plasma membrane. I have listed some of them here. Let's read them out and explain them one by one. Firstly, plasma membrane provides a cell its definite shape and structure. We know that a cell has cytoplasm with various components in it. So, without a plasma membrane, all of them will get scattered. Secondly, it helps maintain ionic balance since plasma membrane is almost impermeable to ions. The ions generally cannot pass the plasma membrane on their own. In this case, they require specific carrier proteins. So, having those carrier proteins for each ions, plasma membrane maintain proper ionic balance. It facilitates transport of all necessary substance inside cell including ions, water and food and removes toxic metabolites. A cell needs certain substances to perform normally and maintain metabolism. Such substances are transported inside the cell via the plasma membrane and the toxic metabolites produced after various metabolic processes are excreted out. It holds important receptors for signal transduction. An organism responds to various external stimuli due to the presence of different signal transduction. And plasma membrane holds some of the receptors to perform such functions. For example, GPCR signaling, which is also called the G protein coupled receptor signaling, is also dependent on plasma membrane. The cell surface receptor also has role in immune system such as antigenic receptors. It protects the cell from outer environment and it also has endocytosis and exocytosis role by invagination or evagination respect. So this is all about plasma membrane. I hope you guys understood the lecture, and if you have any issues regarding the topic, anything you didn't understand, please comment below and we will try our best to solve your queries. Thank you.